LMU Monday Night Sprint Series for Season 3. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be absolutely sensational tonight to have you all with us here. And Lindsay Muddle, well done. Congratulations on you being here. And thanks for tuning in. It's going to be a ripper of a season.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely can't wait to get another season underway. Obviously, you and I commentated. It was almost every round together. A couple of hiccups from LMU and our power getting in the way of that one. But the first season was primarily you with me and a couple. So hopefully we can get the whole season done together here and get to usual business on a Monday night. But yeah, LMU is just absolutely fantastic for the racing. We see so much going on all of the time, and I just can't wait to call another season of it.
Yep, it's going to be fantastic to have you with me, and great to have all of you viewers with us here tonight. The Monday Sprint Series never fails to impress, and I'll tell you what, we are on like Donkey Kong for a cracker of a season here. It's going to be very, very interesting for the rest of this this whole calendar we've got coming up for you. And let's have a look at it while we're here. We are at Imola tonight. This is round 1, May the 5th, and it is a 60-minute race, but we'll get to that shortly. Round 2 is at Monza in a week's time. Then we're at Sebring for round 3. Bahrain on the standard layout. Thank God, mother for the rabbits, that the endurance layout is gone, and they're back to the standard F1 style that we're normally used to seeing there. Spa-Francorchamps is round 5, and then round 6 is the final one, as all the boys are coming into the pits for briefing now. For their inaugural briefing time, but it is round 6 to finish. The season finale is at Circuit de la Sarthe, so that is going to be something to behold as well. So you know what you got to do, ladies and gentlemen, tune in every Monday for Lindsay Muddle and Zach O'Reilly to be here for the LMU Monday Night Sprint Series. It's going to be an absolute rip snorter. New season though, Lindsay, means we've got a couple of drivers switching into different cars from last season, so that could be interesting to see.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a few new drivers as well here, at least for the Tier 1 grid. I don't recognise the name Benefield or Talbot, or there's actually quite a few. Jacobs as well, looks like a new one.
Yes.
Demedisi, I don't know if I've said that right. Feel free to yell at me if I'm wrong when the driver watches it back, but that seems right to me. Just a good couple of new names here in the Tier 1 grid, so that's always good to see as well. New talent coming through, whether they raced in Tier 2 last season or they're just absolutely off the rip into Tier 1. But new names are always good, and also then you have the likes of Brimblecombe as well, moving from the GT3 class from the Mustang into the BMW hypercar for the hypercar class. So yeah, a good couple movers and shakers here. Yeah,
definitely, and the new names are going to show us what they are made of, and it looks like they are up there as well. But look at the GT3s. We've got so many GT3s on the track tonight. We've got 15, in fact, in the GT3 class sitting there. And new names there. Adam Hardy's one I can see. Nigel Lammerman in 26th there with James Atkinson, as well as Liam Brooks too. They're sort of back in there. And Russell Ray's at the front there in a Corvette for so far. So a few drivers injected into the series. Only 10 hypercars on the track tonight. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do. As we can see, the timing tower is ticking down to just under 15 seconds before qualifying gets underway and switched out with the driver's briefing. So without further ado, it is time to go racing. And we are at Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari at Imola Circuit tonight. And it is not round 6, it is 100% round 1. The 19 turns cover this circuit, and it's a very, very awesome place to be. It brings out the toughest and the most bravest of the drivers on who can make a move where, when, and how at this circuit. 4.9 kilometres as well coming your way of action. 15-minute qualifying, which is still private. Hasn't changed from last season, and the race length, as always here for every round, bar the finale, if I can speak properly, is 60 minutes. Two classes on the circuit tonight are the hypercars and the LMGT3s. And we've got some entrants here to come with you. These are the boyos and girlos on the grid as well, the hypercar class. See some familiar faces in there of Latanzio, De Silva, Colombo, but it looks like we've got 3 Ferraris on there. We've got 5 Porsches. We've got 1 BMW, lonely BMW. Asota's there as well. And then Rifki, a Fiat as well, just changing manufacturers. Toyota's involved in the hypercar class. There is also 2 BMWs, in fact, and an Alpine with Connor Carruthers and Nicholas Guerrero. But LMGT3 is another story. We've got Ash Johnston there in the Aston Martin. Lachlan Andrews, Graham 78, Phil Rando in the Porsche as well. Lachlan Andrews sticking to his BMW, as we've seen. Donnelly, Sam missing. Well, I hope he's not going to go missing at any race in the Ferrari there as well. The BMW of Antonio Montero, and then we've got Russell Raisley and Brooks in the Corvettes there respectively, with Ricky Packham, James Atkinson, Martin Glastonbury in Mustangs and Ferraris. Also with a Benny Collins, a Stig going to the Aston Martin as well. Nigel Lammerman, in number 44 of the Mustang, Leo Dreyer, and Adam Hardy. So it's going to be interesting to see what we can do. There's no points on the board at the moment because it is round 1. So who's going to be at the top there, Lindsay Muddle? It's all for us to get on board with and see what the action is going to bring us. As we can see, qualifying now has just started to tick over. And it's going to be on like Donkey Kong for these boys. And the hypercar boys are coming out. We can see, the OBS has just got to catch up there very, very quickly indeed. And we'll see some hypercar boyos getting out on the circuit very, very shortly just to get themselves ready, rocking and rolling for this one as they're waiting for the green light to go. And now we'll get the timing tower up so we can see exactly who we're on board with here. 15 minutes of qualifying at Imola coming our way here, Lindsay Muddle. Get your predictions in the chat as well, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to take out P1 in the hypercars and the GD3s, Russell Rays and Colombo, were the 2 quicker boys out there in each class respectively. So it could be interesting here, Lindsay.
Yeah, it looks like we might have had a bit of a pace shake-up during the off-season as well, even with the returning drivers. But if I had to be a betting man, I'm going to go with my ways and say that Harry Lawrence in that BMW, it might be his first time in the car. He's the person I'm going to be hawk-eyed watching in this qualifying session. But also you have the likes of Colombo as well, De Silva, Benefield in that hypercar class. And then obviously the GT3 it's always such a mixed bag. You know, you can never really say who's going to be at the front, who's going to be at the back, except for maybe 1 or 2 contenders. But yeah, I think that for a qualifying session, my eyes normally remain more focused on the hypercar class, just because it is where the real big sends go. But the GT3s can also put on a qualifying show.
Yeah, they definitely can. It's going to be interesting to see what these boyos come into play when it comes to their qualifying session. It's all to win and lose there. The starting grid advantage is very much on point here at Imola. You've got a couple of places where you can get overtaken and some hard braking zones as well. But we are right now on here with Shawnee Jacobs for his first lap. So Lindsay Muddle, this is your time to shine, my old friend. Let's call it up here at Imola.
Alrighty, so here we go on board for a lap of the Imola circuit, completely flat out towards Variante Tamburello. Just before the curb, get it down into 3rd gear, tip it across. You've got to use all the curbs here now that they removed the sausage curbs from this circuit, completely flat out through the final part of the chicane at turn 4. Now into the Villeneuve chicane, complete commitment over the first left-hander, flick it across again over the right-hand side curb. A little bit of a wobble there on the exit for Sean Jacobs, and then back up the hill through Tosa. Get it glued to the apex, 1st gear, power out, rely on the traction control as little as possible as you now make the run up over the hill, which is counted as turn 8, and then into turn 9 at Piratella. You got to load up the downforce, get around the curb, then use all the exit curb available to you. Now, the hardest part, but also the best part of the circuit, Aqua Minerale, complete commitment through the first part. Slow it up, don't understeer and hit the gravel. Shawnee Jacobs a little bit understeery there through turn 12 and 13. Now into Variante Alta. This requires full curb commitment. You've got to have confidence in your ability to not cut the track, and Sean Jacobs taking that absolutely to perfection there. That looked very, very Nissan-sidey as now into the final 2 corners, the Ravazza complex. Braking as you get the car in a straight line, 2nd gear, and that's very wide. It's a lockup from Sean Jacobs, and that is how you throw away a lap at Imola.
Oh, that's disaster for Shawnee. He won't be happy about that. He was looking pretty much on song there. He was pushing the car to the nth degree, so he's going to have to go around one more time to get that job done in his grand scheme of the department things. But the first man across the line to put a lap in is this man, Nick De Silva. And he has gone bang there, straight into it. And basically just taking it with a 131.783. Talbot right behind him of Jeremy, only a 10th away too. So that is incredible. And no, now Matthew Spinazzi's gone through is the man. So this is interesting stuff here for Matthew. You can see him rounding that grid there too. The GT3 boys are about to finish their first lap, and that is the man on top there so far. That is Russell Ray's taking it with a 1 minute 43.946 for his opening stanza here for Imola. So this is great stuff. The drivers getting in their rhythm really, really early here for their first banker lap. It's really, really good to see that these boys can do it and mix it with everyone else as well. 0.5 of a second is the gap between first and second there on your screen between LMGT3's pole and second place. And Colombo has gone bang as well. So he's even done Spinazzi over there with a 1:31.441 there too, Lindsay. That is an absolute rip snorter of a lap there to open his account. De Silva's back in the pits and having another crack here. This will be his outlap. 10.5 minutes left in this one. It goes by so quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely flies by here in the private qualifying session. But they've got no excuses. Everyone's out and they're not even looking at each other. It's just them and the clearest track in front. So who can be the biggest benefactor of that? We only find out once qualifying is done, Lindsay.
Yeah, qualifying is just all about hooking up the laps here. The first runs are important for the confidence factor. It always just takes a little bit of knowing, hey, I can get the lap on the board. Now I have a banker to rely on, and then I can absolutely fly away into the distance and push it as hard as I can go as we look to Benny Collins in what is my favourite car on the grid across both classes at the moment, the Aston Martin Vantage GT3. What a stunning machine. But Benny doing it proud at the moment. 3/10 up in the first sector, 2/10 up through the middle sector. He currently sits in P3. If he has a mega final sector, he could find himself challenging Packham, but it would be a very electric sector 3. So maybe Collins just sitting in that P3 to 5 pace range, which is very, very close together. As it looks like Rays has set an even quicker time in P1 as across the line Benny Collins is going to go. He moves up into P4 just past Atkinson. No, and he also goes past Johnston as well in his fellow Aston Martin. And Machinery as Glastonbury moves up into third in the GT3 class as well. So a lot of movers and shakers up and down the leaderboard at the moment in the GT3 class. The gap in the hypercar class, however, is quite significant. 5/10 between Colombo and Talbot, but also Spinazzi sitting another 2/10 behind that. Spinazzi, another mover from the GT3 class to the hypercar class. I believe, though, Spinazzi was in the hypercar class for the first season. Correct me if I'm wrong. Benefield as well, currently sitting in 4th position, as well as Sean Jacobs currently sitting in 5th. He did eventually get a lap time on the board. We're currently looking at De Medici here. I'm probably going to get yelled at post-race, I'd imagine, Zach O'Reilly, about that pronunciation.
It could be De Medici or it could be De Medici.
There's too many variables here, but we'll find out post-race, I'm sure, about it. But now he is heading towards the line now. He was up in the first sector, significantly down in the middle sector. Will it be an improvement across the line? I don't think it will be. Yes, it will be. It was a purple final sector. 6th for De Medici. Here in this qualifying session. It was a 32.0, but still quite a lot of time to find looking at that middle sector.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see the times keep tumbling. Benefield just gone bang and really nearly pipped Colombo in the hypercar class for P1, but 1/10.5 away thereabouts is Benefield's gap between Mohammed. So one of the quick customers is Mohammed Colombo. One of the bigger ones that I have not seen tonight is Harry Lawrence. He's not here in this one. So we'll see if he's going to come back for the season or if he's just going to do an Alex K and stick with the Tier 2s and help them go hammer and tong. The man who is one of the best strategical masterclasses in the liveries department and also in the race strategy department is Harry Lawrence. But missing tonight, he'll probably be back for the next one. But Ricky Packham at the moment, 7/10 away on screen from Russell Ray's. So Russell Ray's at the moment really, really hammering at the moment. And you can see that Corvette. One of the slower cars at some circuits is the Corvette, but we saw Shawnee Madison get involved in that car and take it to some victories too. So it is a car that can be suited at some circuits as well in this one. But geez, with 6 minutes and 56 seconds left in qualifying, it's going to be interesting to see what these boyos can do. The purple sector has been lit up here at the moment for Benefield. He's P-beat himself in the second one as well by 2/10. So this could be a quick one here for Daniel. What can he do? I'll tell you what, that Porsche is looking very, very nice A bit of green there for Chris Munro. He'd be loving watching this car go around in the white. What's he going to do as he crosses the line here? This could be very, very close indeed. It is. It's absolutely done. Pole for Daniel Benefield provisionally here at the moment by 600ths of a second over Mohamed Colombo in his trusty Ferrari as well. So what has Mohamed got here? He's on his outlap, so we'll have to keep an eye out on the timing tower for that. In fact, Colombo, Talbot and Shawnee Jacobs are all on their outlap at the moment. Di Medici, or Medici, whatever he wants to be called, is just coming out of the pits now. What can Nick De Silva produce as he comes across the line here? Is he going to set a really good lap? He comes across and was denied anything with that one. It was quick, so we'll see what he can do further down the field here with 5.5 minutes or thereabouts ready to rock and roll. Leo Dreyer's just pumped himself inside the top 5 as well, which is great. We've got a really close gap now for Rays versus Packham. Only 3.5 tenths is splitting these two after 4.5 kilometres of Imola. What is Leo Dreyer going to do as he comes across the line? He's just down on his own personal best. Does it bump him up? It does. Into 4th place he goes. So very, very nice drive in there from Leo. He's on fire here at the moment, albeit 1.1 seconds off the grid, but that mid-pack in the GT3s is going to be very, very close indeed. The hypercars, however, are also very close. 600 split, Colombo versus Benefield. Then we've got Talbot there, Jacobs and Spinazzi all within three tenths of each other. That is something to also think about come race time here with 60 minutes of racing coming our way. Just about to tick into the 5-minute mark here, Lindsay Muddle. And these boys are just starting to find their rhythm for their final dash here in the qualifying event.
Yeah, and these really close gaps is going to mean an absolutely blockbuster finish here to this qualifying session. I absolutely can't wait to see how this all plays out when we get to the end of this qualifying session. 600 between divisional pole and divisional P2. And then another car 3 tenths back, and then another car 4 tenths back from that. So this is just going to be an absolutely sensational end to this qualifying session here with 4.5 minutes to go. We're looking at Sean Jacobs once again like we did at the beginning of this qualifying session. He's just trundling around in the Porsche 963. It's not really trundling, it's more like a very big sprint here as he's trying to get himself around this circuit as quickly as he can possibly go. The GT3 class as well, very close together with Reyes sitting 3.5 tenths clear of Ricky Packham. But Packham just sitting pretty nicely in P2 at the moment. If he hooks up a lap, he could go for the pole in the LMGT3 class. It's a 10th down, nearly a 10.5 down for Sean Jacobs in the first sector. But he could just be conserving his tyres maybe a bit more for the middle. It's all about managing tyres here in the hypercar class from what I've heard and from what I've seen. You've just got to keep the tyres fired up throughout the entire lap. It was a little bit wide there from Sean Jacobs through Aqua Minerale, but now up into Variante Alta, turn 14 and 15. This is where you can gain a lot of time and also lose a lot of time depending on how much you're willing to send it. And that looked pretty committed to me from Sean Jacobs as he's making his way towards the final 2 corners now. This is where he locked up at the start of this qualifying session. He's not going to lock up this time. He's going to get the curb absolutely perfectly there, and then rounding the final corner, the final part of Ravazza and the final part of the lap at Imola here and towards the line for Sean Jacobs. What is the lap time going to be? There's still 3 minutes to go, but an improvement would be really good for Sean Jacobs. It doesn't look like he finds an improvement on that lap round.
No, he got a track cut there. Unfortunately for him, track limits denied him of any chance to get himself back up into the podium positions there. So he's going to have to go around Daft Punk style for one more time. But I'll tell you what, Colombo at this stage is just starting his first lap. He's not on an outlap here at the moment. Let's see what his first sector... Well, his first sector hasn't come up there on the timing tower, so it's interesting as well to see what these boys are do. But Shawnee Jacobs has just done a 26.082 and a 26 dead, actually, for Nick De Silva. Purple in the first sector, so those boys are going to come through as well. Is this man... Oh, you can see him warming up his tyres there. Is Ash Johnston going to make a comeback here in the Aston Martin, Lindsay Muddle's favourite car? And he's sitting in 5th at this point in time, 1.2 seconds off the lead and of this gaggle of cars here in qualifying. Nonetheless, he's got 2 minutes and 4 seconds to go, and these guys are doing 1 minute 43 odds. So he's got one more lap to go if he's got enough fuel in it after this one, if he royally stuffs it up for his first chance at one. So Ash Johnston look out for him. Can he improve as we come through Imola? You can see them absolutely darting full belt down the front straightaway here. Turn 1's done. Turn 2 and 3 coming our way very, very shortly. An awesome overtaking spot in racing too. Don't we worry about that. So we'll see where he is going to come out of this one. We look like we've got a dead man here in the racing. Graham Hill come back to life for Damon there, and just circulating around nicely in 7th place overall for the standings in the GT3 class. But really, really setting the timing towers alight there on his own personal best. He's only got 1 and a bit tenths to promote himself up into 6th place between himself and Ash Johnston. So that will be interesting to see as he comes across. Now we've got Nick De Silva here. He has set a purple first sector, but his second one was a mare. Absolutely dead set shocker for him. And he's 5 tenths down overall nearly. He's going to have to pull a rabbit out of the bag here, magician style, to make it any further up the grid. We're under a minute left in qualifying, and these boyos really, really need to get a wriggle on. He's going to tie it past the line before the timing tower goes to 0, so he's got one more shot to get it right. But Daniel Benefield is still leading this one, and only by 600ths. Colombo hasn't had an answer for him for the last 10 minutes in this session either, so Daniel Benefield really, really on song. At the moment, though, he's way off. He's a good second down, probably just warming up and phasing in those tyres here. Lindsay Buttle with 30 seconds left in this one.
Yeah, Benefield looks like he has one hand on the pole position, but with a 600th gap behind you, you can never be too sure. It's going to take one last final improvement here, I think, to really solidify himself at the top of the timing tower. Colombo will be absolutely going for it. De Silva's not out of reach either, so Benefield getting ready for one last lap in this qualifying session in the Porsche 963. So he's going to be absolutely under the pump at this point in this qualifying session, but not too much pressure. Still sitting on provisional pole. You could fall away just a little bit, but now we look to Colombo. This man right here is in the hot seat. He currently sits only 600ths behind the only car he needs to get past to get onto pole position, but it looked wide from Colombo. I think he invalidated, and that is not how you want to end a qualifying session. He's back in the pits, so now Benefield would be feeling relatively safe, but he probably doesn't know that in the cockpit, as De Silva also will still be hunting. Benefield was nearly a 10th down in the first sector, but he still has a lot of track to go in this lap here as he heads into Aqua Minerale, just over the top of the first curve, open up the second part, get it across the inside curve of the slow part, and then just power it right back up the hill. Will he be up through the middle sector as he heads into Variante Alta? No, he was down another 100th, so unless he absolutely nails the final sector, it looks like he won't beat his 30.489, but you never know here as he heads towards Ravazza. It is going to be fully committed here from Daniel Benefield as he rounds the final 2 corners of the lap now. So he plants the power, and now the run towards the line for Benefield. No, he's going to pull off into the pit lane. What about De Silva, Zach O'Reilly? Where is he sitting at the
He's
moment?
in the pits. He's done as well.
He's in the pits.
Everyone's done. Ricky Packham, however, is the final man, and you can see he's up personal best at the moment. If he gets this sector right here, he's going to be up there and probably taking the chockies off Rays. Can he get the job done here in the final bit of qualifying? He's pushing it to the absolute limit here in this Mustang. He's got all the horsepower, full pedal to the metal, takes the shortest line out all the way to the finish line here. Is it going to be enough for him as he takes the chockies? No, it's an invalidated lap time for him. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your qualifying. Done, won, dusted, all over, finished. Let's have a look and see where these boyos finished up in the grand scheme of things. That is your grid here now. Daniel Benefield takes pole on debut. Lindsay Muddle over Mohamed Colombo. That is a cracking drive from him. Nick De Silva in 3rd place. Munro gave in the chat a tip for him to be on pole. Did not come to fruition. Only 2 tenths off, though, after 4 and a bit kilometres of racing. It's absolutely nothing between these guys. And really nothing between De Silva and Talbot, too. So look out for the 3 Porsches all having a good crack at each other. In Shawnee Jacobs being the last one there in that trio. Matthew Spinazzi, Gattero, De Medici, I'm going to call it, and Hanny Curry with Brimblecombe rounding out the 10 there for the GT3 class. Russell Reyes took the chockies by a good 3 tenths over everyone else, over Ricky Packham there for sure. Benny Collins, really, really good drive from him in the Aston Martin. He was sitting sort of in the back half of the grid last season and finds himself already promoted up the front stuff. So good stuff from Benny Collins. Leo Dreyer on debut, 4th place. Ash Johnston and James Atkinson, 5th and 6th respectively. Glastonbury, the dead man walking, Graham Hill, Liam Brooks, Jake Baldwin, another debut as well with Chris Donnelly, Adam Hardy, Nikhil Lachlan Andrews, and Phil Rando are those boyos on the final 2 rows there for this grid coming our way. And that is qualifying done, one and run there, Lindsay Muddle. That was close on the top step there for Benefield versus Colombo. But now they've got to put their eyes forward for the Racing Strategical Geniuses brain, section of their brain, realistically, to get themselves in, because virtual energy here is going to be something to think about.
Yeah, with such a close qualifying to start the season, all of these drivers will be feeling a little bit pressured to perform in the race. So I think we could see more mistakes than usual when we get to race time, maybe just feeling a little bit more pressure potentially than in previous seasons. I realised that the driver I backed at the start of this qualifying session, after you read out the grid, I thought Lawrence was going to be here and he's not. So now I've got to find somebody else to back. And honestly, I'm gonna follow Monroe's shout here. I think Nick De Silva is going to have an absolutely cracker of a round. Hopefully, fingers crossed, no commentary curse in that department. But I think that we've seen time and time again, we've only seen the no-stop work one singular time. So I don't think we're going to see that tonight, but I will keep you updated, because unlike at the last round at Le Mans, I do have someone in the hypercar class that I can feed off of now that he's moved into the hypercar class. So I will be able to have constant updates about that one. But yeah, this race is going to cause absolute carnage at Imola, and this is going to be fantastic stuff. Such a tight circuit, multi-class racing. We saw it in real life a couple of weeks ago for the WEC 6 hour. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic race.
Looks like it's a fantastic race, and a bit hazy and foggy here on circuit as well. Live conditions here for the Imola circuit in terms of the forecast of what is coming to fruition. So maybe just a little bit of a chance of some conditions changing here. That could be interesting. That's something to think about here. But Benefield will be dead set crapping his nappies at the moment, if he still wears them. Don't know how old or young he is, but he could be there, because he's got his first ever rolling start here for the race with Mohamed Colombo and De Silva with Talbot right up his clacker too, as we start the rolling proceedings here at the top of the hill for the last 2 corners here of Imola circuit. And this is something to behold. Who's going to get the chockies here in the hypercar class? Is it going to be Benefield getting the best run? He is on the better side of the circuit as well once the green flag is waved. But we'll find out very, very shortly as around the final turn. Hypercars on your screen. LMGT3 is just behind them as well, all racing, ready to rock and roll at the same time there. And you can see them all bunched up here. When are we going to see Benefield go for it here? Is he going to be on the song there? Is he going to get his shifts right? Is he not going to miss shift as he goes for it here once that green flag is waved? And we are about to go racing here for the first time. Season 3 of the LMU Monday Night Sprint Series at ASA, Australian Sim Sport Alliance, is about to kick off in just a hot second. Who's going to get the jump here? We're about to find out once Benefield gets the absolute jump of his life, and we're off and racing. But look at Mohamed Colombo. He's gone. He's absolutely sent it straight in. He's already cut the nose off there of Benefield. So into P1 goes Mohamed Colombo. We are up 3 or 4 cars wide there in the background. They're all going to get through in the hypercar class cleanly there. You can see them all jostling for positions there through the rest of the turns. That is incredible. Everyone's got through cleanly there, but we're still too wide. Into turn 3 and 4 we go. Mohamed Colombo leads this one over Benefield. Then we've got Talbot De Silva. Shawnee Jacobs there in 5th place with Spinazzi there too, having a good old tussle there in the background. You can see them all splitting out. That is the hairbrush of Shawnee Brimblecombe in the BMW. Defending for his life and spun and lost it. Oh, he's checked himself up and he's lost it already. That is disaster there for Brimblecombe. What are the boys doing here in the LMGT3 class? Oh, there's more carnage in the background there too. Oh, that's disaster there. I think that was a Aston Martin. That looks like disaster there in the background. I think that was, no, it wasn't. I think it was Benny Collins losing his rear wing already, and you can see him. Oh, that's disaster. That is not the downforce you want here on lap 1. Already having to come through the pits for Benny Collins, not the Stig. Genuine disappointment there for him as well. But it is on like Donkey Kong here for the top 4. Russell Ray's over Ricky Packham. 4-5 tenths abreast all these boyos. Then it's a little bit of a gap between the back of them here, and you can see now that Adam Hardy is challenging at the moment in the Ferrari there. No, sorry, in the Ferrari. He's gone straight through, and he is currently 10th overall in that one. It is still on like Donkey Kong here for the hypercar class, because Benefield right now, Lindsay Muddle, has got a half a suck chance here on Colombo for P1.
Yep, Colombo got the lead right off the jump, but now Benefield, he won't want to sit behind. He's going to want to retake his race lead at the first opportunity here, but Colombo holds it down the straight that time around into Tamburello. So he's safe for the moment, but they're still going to just settle into rhythm, have the slipstream, be able to follow the lines, try and pick and choose where he can try and show the nose and make Colombo feel a little bit pressured. Talbot also got past De Silva as well at the start, so everybody that I was thinking of a backing here is going backwards in this race. Not ideal, but a Porsche 2, 3, 4, 5. We saw a Ferrari 2, 3, 4, 5 most of the time last season, but a lot of car changes this season. Colombo, the only one in the hypercar class in a Ferrari this race, so definitely a change up from last season to take note of here. And Colombo absolutely flying out the front. He couldn't get pole after a mistake that invalidated his lap, but I think now he's absolutely on a charge. He got the race lead, as I said, right off the start, and he's now just trying to make a statement here. He's saying, I mightn't have gotten pole, but I definitely have the race pace. But also, there's so many factors like your virtual energy and your tyres and all those other sorts of good things. So the strategy will definitely come to fruition at some point later in this race for a lot of these drives. But I'm interested to see how everybody settles into rhythm. And right now, the 1, 2, 3, 4 cars, the top 4, looking very, very close together still. You can see that train all the way down the straight, and then you have a little bit of a bigger gap back to Shawnee Jacobs, who has Spinazzi on the back of him here. But no movers and shakers at the moment in the hypercar class. They're just sitting stationary a little bit. Imola is a little bit tricky to overtake at, as you might see in real life as well. But once we get the GT3 traffic in the mix, I'm sure it'll turn into absolute chaos, carnage, and anything else in between for these hypercar and the GT3 drivers with such a tight circuit as we currently look at Ash Johnston. He's trying to make a move on Baldwin, and I'm going to try not to call him James Baldwin all night. I know that it's not James Baldwin, but so synonymous, that last name, in the racing space, especially at the moment. But Johnston looking for a move on Baldwin into turn 1. He has the slipstream, but will he be close enough? It does not look like he's in within overtaking range at this point, but they're both on a little bit of a slide there on the entry, but not too many overtakes going at the moment, but a lot of yellow flags seem to be popping up around the circuit.
Yeah, definitely. There's some cars going off and spinning around. Benny Collins is already a lap down. Unfortunately for him in the Aston Martin, we saw him lose his rear wing, so he's out of this one for sure at this stage. But as you said, once the guys get settled in and the hypercars start to lap the LMGT3s, it's going to be all over. Bar the shouting if you cannot get past them, because the guys behind you will catch you at a absolute blink of an eye. And it's beautiful that we have all these spectacles of different manufacturers, different cars, different shapes, different engine sounds, everything you want there here at LMU. As the game is getting better and better as it goes on. Definitely a very, very popular grid. In fact, we've got 26 cars on the circuit here tonight, and you can see them all circulating around with their different strengths and weaknesses as they circulate through Imola. And it's still out in front by 8.5 tenths there now is Colombo over Benefield, so we've got to watch out for that one. Is anyone going to make an error there? Is De Silva going to get further up the grid there? We can see a bit of smoke signals there. I think that was from Atkinson just in front of them, losing a little bit of time. Or was it even Jake Baldwin? Maybe it was Jakey Boy. But you can see a little bit of a gaggle of cars here coming our way. Dead man walking here at the moment. Graham Hill is just looking at the front of this. If we can get to the camera, you can see him in the McLaren, and then his teammate Chris Donnelly in front of him with Ash Johnston in the Aston Martin and the Porsche. Being a cork in the bottle here for these boyos. So this is interesting. Who's going to get a bit of a suck? It's nearly like a DRS train Formula 1 style here for everyone. Who's got the closest slipstream? And it looks like at this stage, I think Ash Johnston is eyeing up a move here on Jake Baldwin into turn 1. Is he going to send it under brakes? He is, but no, he's not close enough. He's just going to dummy into a mistake there for Jake Baldwin. He gets that job done. You can see now the overlap coming to fruition here for him on the exit. Through the chicane we go. Defensive at the moment. Swerving left and right is Jake Baldwin. This could be a move for position here. Who's bravest under brakes? They're both going side by side here. Cracking stuff. And I'll tell you what, Jake Baldwin's got big balls, but I reckon Ash Johnston's got bigger ones, and he has too. And now he's all defensive here at the moment. Is Jake Baldwin, because he has got very, very angry. Chris Donnelly and Deadman walking behind him. Ready to rock and roll. 2 McLarens versus a Porsche. This is an absolute orgy you do not want to be involved in. I'll tell you what, once you've been overtaken, the red mist starts to descend in your helmet, and you just got to keep your eyes forward to make sure you can nail every single exit to minimise any damage coming your way past an overtake there. But cracking move from Ash Johnston. Just put the balls on the line and made them about 50 kilos heavier there, and got the move done. That was beautiful stuff as these boys circulate around a little bit more here. We'll go to the hypercar class because Nick De Silva at this stage is climbing all over the back of Jeremy Talbot. The two Porsches line astern, and only 4/10 separates them, or thereabouts, at this stage for the rest of them. It's cracking stuff to see these boys go around at such a rate of knots here, Lindsay, and still keeping it clean at this stage. No real big mistakes in the hypercar class. As you can see, the top 5 in each now on your screen to see what the gaps are in real time between themselves and the leader. So we'll see what happens, but we'll bring up the gap to next just to get themselves right up there so we can see where the battles are. But at the moment, it's Porsche at the moment 3 and 4 line astern here, and they're going to be wanting to get onto the back of Benefield and Colombo to rate of knots if they're going to have any chance to win this one.
Yeah, and it does look like it's extending and then closing at different parts of the circuit, so maybe the Ferrari and Porsche differing slightly about where they are quicker and where they aren't. Here is all. We now look to the LMGT3 class. We're currently looking at Adam Hardy in P10 in the GT3 class, hounding the back of a BMW. Not sure which BMW. There's quite a few of them. It's Andrews here, as Hardy just getting a good run. This is where we saw the fantastic move around the outside last lap. I can't get over that move. That was absolutely sensational, that one. You might have heard the little input wow in the background from me this time last lap. Something I also took notice of, though, is the fact that Colombo is getting scarily close to the GT3 class. Actually, I saw him in the background of the camera shot just then coming up through Tosa, so it's getting very close to that time of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Colombo, and then where is the GT3 pack? If you go to his onboard, yeah, there they are, just there, and now the fun is about to begin. So Colombo reaching his first set of lap traffic here, GT3 traffic. He's going to fly past the first Mustang. What about the Porsche into Variante Alta? Will he be close enough? The Porsche backing out just a little bit. Colombo obviously later on the brakes in the hypercar class. What about the cars behind, though? What about Benefield? What about Talbot? It looks like Benefield's had a mare. He's lost 3.4 seconds to Colombo, and now it looks like Talbot's arrived on the scene behind Benefield. So absolute mare there for Benefield. He is not going to be happy with that one at all, but that's the name of the game here in multi-class racing, as they're closing back into Colombo, and now it's happy days for Benefield as he's caught a lot of the other traffic here on the straight, so that helps him close into Colombo a bit, but he might still encounter a couple of cars into turn one. As look at this, it looks like the M1 on a busy Saturday morning here, as Talbot's been boxed in, and now he's going to lose out the time that he just closed up to Benefield, as he's absolutely boxed in here. This is the battle we were looking at a moment ago, and Lachlan Andrews absolutely under the gun here. He has another hypercar potentially up his inside into the Villeneuve chicane as well. Yes, De Silva flies on past. This is absolutely fantastic stuff. They're all working very hard. Hardy and Andrews probably the two most attacked at the moment, as here comes Sean Jacobs as well up the inside of Tosa on a GT3 Corvette, I believe. No, it was the Porsche. Now he's going up the inside of the Corvette, and he might get a little bit boxed in here. Gattero as well in the background as they head into Piratella, and he's just carving his way through the traffic. I think Gattero, that is in the Alpine, still sitting behind, is now the long way around on Hardy. Jacobs is going to try up the inside of Aquaminerale on Lachlan Andrews. He does manage to just slot in